Friends, 507 days of war. A Russian warship was located near Cuba, and an American journalist was extremely shocked as to what this warship was doing only 90 miles from the US coast. However, he or his likes are not surprised or do not even bother to think what is the American and the NATO's warships, warplanes, and other forms of war-making machineries and formations are doing in close proximity of other countries including Russia and China. Here it also must be noted that NATO is planning to recruit another 300,000 troops in close proximity of Russian territory in its various NATO members and European Union countries. Coming to war zone, as per Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian offensive is continuous in Liman and Donetsk direction. In Donetsk direction, they have carried out 16 attacks, but without much success. In north, in Torske, the Ukrainians have retreated back from the center and upper area of the settlement. Almost 40% of this settlement is under Russian army now. In east, in Bakhmut, on the southern flank, the Ukrainians are continuously carrying out counterattacks towards Klishivka, Kurdymovka, and even Andriivka, which is 10 to 15 kilometers southwest of Bakhmut, and they have managed some partial gains. In south, on Kherson front, the Russian army has claimed that it has destroyed several Ukrainian boats near Antonivsky Bridge, which is on the eastern bank of Dnieper River. In Zaporizhia front, Ukrainian army has carried out counteroffensive on many fronts, and as per ISW, it has gained some territory in western Zaporizhia side. Ukrainian army is continuing its attack towards Robotino, which is 10 kilometers south of Orikho, and once again, as per ISW, is now within 1 kilometer from Robotino outskirts. Battle was on throughout the night. As per another report, Ukrainian army broke Russian army's defense line in north of Pryutny. As far as this settlement is concerned, which is 15 kilometers southwest of Velika Novosilka, is changing hands, even small outskirt territories many times. The interdiction mission from both the sides are on, and the Ukrainian CNC, Valery Zaluzny, has said that Ukrainian forces are waging interdiction campaign against Russian military targets. Some related information: Russian Federation Black Sea Fleet has issued a warning to mariners about presence of mine hazards on shipping routes in northwest part of Black Sea. Kiev has expressed its desire for security guarantee from G7, and it has also said that there is nothing to be ashamed of talking about nuclear weapons, and G7 must provide nuclear weapons to Kiev. Pentagon has blamed Russia and Iran that they are trying to kick out US from Syria. Of course, this is right. You are trying to do the same in Ukraine. And Russian Federation has blamed the West that the Western PMCs, private military companies, are helping Ukrainian army. There is nothing new in this. They have been behind dozens and dozens of countries' coup d'etat, military intervention, and other forms of interference in so-called independent countries whose sovereignty has been marginalized because of US imperialism and its allies in NATO. And lastly, Moscow has declared that Putin will be joining BRICS summit in South Africa despite ICC's arrest warrant against Putin. Let us see what happens. To me, nothing special is going to happen because ICC is a toothless organization and a puppet of US imperialism, similar to World Bank, IMF, even UNO, and other many such organizations. Well, that's all from my side. As far as war in Ukraine is concerned, the long battle line is by and large stationary. Few posts here and there are being captured, recaptured, and grey zone changing hands and some dimensions. But by and large, what is happening is not yet a silent movie, but a very active one, where lots of interdiction missions and war of attrition, which as even Ukrainian chief of army staff spoke, and of course Russians have been doing in much larger way than what Ukrainians could because of their weapon system, which are much advanced and long and lethal as far as their ability is concerned. And that's all from my side. Thank you, friends.